Well, there is, it would seem that your postulations has come from the environment that we found ourselves. I mean, you have looked at certain circumstances around that proposal, but there have been lawyers who, minus the proposal, have been able to look at the situation and have proposed, even before now, that the EFCC should concentrate strictly on investigations and perhaps supply the prosecution, people who are specialized in prosecution, the information, they will be able to better help the EFCC perform its duties. Do you see no merit to that particular suggestion?
I see no merit based on our experience. I am saying that this has been tested and it failed. The EFCC has trained more prosecutors than any of the agencies of government in the last 14 years. I know a colleague, as an external lawyer, who leads in the prosecution of EFCC cases, Mr. Rotimi Jacobs, SAN. No lawyer in Nigeria, in and out of government, has secured more convictions than him. The record is there. I'm not engaging in intellectual discourse. I'm talking of experience. Where has this suggestion that was tested in the past landed us? What the NBA should be doing, frankly speaking, is to say, how can we fine-tune the success recorded by the EFCC so far of all the prosecution agencies in the country?
What would you suggest?
No, there are, like any agency.
Experience. Some people will also ask you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you talk about the environmental experience. Some people will also ask you, whether or not the EFCC has abused its powers in any way. They feel that in some instances, the fact that the EFCC has both prosecutorial and investigative powers has made it, become some instrument of government. It has experienced very heavy influence of government in carrying out its duties. Do you agree with those people?
No, Malcolm, that is not correct. Because there are two ways of ensuring that the EFCC does not abuse its powers. The first one, the Attorney General of the country, by virtue of Section 174 of the Constitution, has the power to take over any case being prosecuted by the EFCC if there is any evidence of abuse of power. Secondly, the EFCC does not decide cases. It presents cases to court. And if the case is poorly presented, the judge will throw it out. And that is the experience on a regular basis. Please, I am not saying that the EFCC is a perfect organization. It has its shortcomings. And some of us are more critical of the EFCC than those who are shouting themselves hoarse. The point I'm making is that we have tested, we have tried in the past to firm out these briefs. It got to a stage where the EFCC had to recall all the files because they didn't record any progress.
So, I think that's why Chamberlain asked your suggestion.
By the EFCC. Do you not take issue with some of the words that were used in that statement?
Which words? Which words? Which words?
Well, lawyers were called vultures and rogues. The NBA was said to have had some vultures and rogues amongst them.
Well, I haven't come across such the use of such words. But if I confirm, I read that in the paper this month. If I confirm, I'm going to take it up with the EFCC. That cannot be correct because there's also a fallacy of generalization. You can't say lawyers are rogues or vultures. There are damn good lawyers in Nigeria. There are damn good judges in Nigeria. So there's no way you can, just rubbish everybody. So if the EFCC has done that, it has to apologize to Nigerian lawyers. Because we must learn to isolate criminals amongst us and deal with them under the law. But you cannot just rubbish everybody.
In all of this, we're looking for a good system whereby when we prosecute cases, we get to a logical end. And you just also mentioned judges. Perhaps we should also be looking in that direction. Do you think, as we are trying to streamline and get a perfect situation in terms of corruption cases now, we should also be looking at some of our judges?
Well, yes, but again, this is where the bar has a role to play. And I've read Mr. Mahmoud's statement, his inaugural address, to the fact that it's going to address corruption in the judiciary. But I think we have heard that over and over again. What is to be done? Right? I think it was Karl Marx that made the point. Philosophers have interpreted the world. Our duty is to change it. Every bar president says this. And it goes to an annoying level sometime in the past, I think about 2 years ago, when the Chief Justice of Nigeria had to challenge the president of the bar then, Mr. Allegri, please, in an open session in the Supreme Court, a valedictory service, stop making this general allegation. Name specific judges. Bring petitions to us. So the NBA should now, send petitions to the NJC. But don't just say Nigerian judges are corrupt.
Okay, but
the system, the NJC has the best system in place to deal with corrupt judges.
What would you rather have? What would you suggest we do to ensure that, look, we start with the case and we get to a logical conclusion?
What we
in a short time?
Yeah, again, this is where I have problem with medicinal lawyers. The Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015, which is a federal enactment, has addressed very substantially how to eliminate delay in the administration of criminal justice. For instance, stay of proceedings have been prohibited. If a judge is elevated now, a trial judge from the High Court is elevated to the Court of Appeal, he or she will simply obtain a fiat from the President of the Court of Appeal to come back and conclude the case. So we've made substantial progress, but unfortunately, lawyers are also trying to abuse that law by now having a situation where a single witness is cross-examined for 10 or 15 days. So if you have 10 witnesses, so you're talking of about 150 days.
Can the judge intervene?
Oh, the judge has to. And that's why we're asking our judges. You must take control of your proceedings. We all go to, many of us go to election petition tribunals. And judges have only 6 months, 180 days, to try the case. So you can't bring 1,000 witnesses and you want to put them in the box and be co-examining them for, a day or two, each of them. What the tribunal members simply do is to say, gentlemen of the bar. Okay, I say we should say ladies and gentlemen of the bar. You have only 10 minutes or 7 minutes to cross-examine a witness.
So there must be a deadline.
Yeah, once it is even, you are not partial to any side. You can't complain of abuse of your right to fair hearing. So our judges under the Administration of Criminal Justice Act must not allow lawyers, either prosecution or defense counsel, to make a mockery of the letter and spirit of the law. So that law can work. What the NBA should be campaigning for is, apart from Lagos, how can we get the other states in Nigeria to adopt the Administration of Criminal Justice Act?
And you say most of these tricks are found amongst the very senior lawyers.
Oh, for sure. An ex-governor or a politically exposed person cannot go for a junior lawyer. You go for the senior ones. But what the senior ones do, unfortunately for our country, instead of helping to promote the cause of justice, and there are decisions of the Supreme Court on this now, the case of Dariye and the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Supreme Court came down heavily on defense counsel in our country, who simply take advantage of technicalities to subject criminal cases to an unending, period. And that is what the Administration of Criminal Justice Act has done to stop all these dilatory tactics in the prosecution of the rich in our country.